Hey guys, back from Aspen. It is Wednesday, March 27th. We're about Bitcoin 69,000, and we're 25 days from happening. And this is episode 61. I want to talk in this episode about go back over the halving data and see if actually it makes any difference at all. I don't actually think it really does. That's kind of my 10 cents as an observer of Bitcoin. But let's take a look at some of the data. And and I want to talk a little bit about kind of this sort of adoption cycle and the power law and versus the adoption cycle versus the hash rate power law. And really, I think these two things are kind of independent. All right, so let's go to the screen and just take a real quick look at the trading view, long-term trading view chart. So there's been 3 halvings so far. All right, the first one happened in 2012, and it happened in November of 2012. And you can see kind of we're trading at $13 on Bitcoin. Those were the days, and the halving is really almost at December. End of November. It was November 28th, 2012. And so we're at 13, and it went to 34 and then really jumped in February, right? So there was a jump, was really 3 months after the halving. Now, kind of argue that the price in general was going kind of crazy anyways at this point. But the halving really happened. The effect was 3 months afterwards, and then when we kind of retrace back down in there. So it wasn't immediate. It wasn't like on the day of the halving something happened. It was 3 months later. Now, the next halving was the halving or halving, either one is okay, is in July of 2016. Now, here we are in July of 2016, and we're at 571. And you're going to sort of see it went all the way up to 608, so nothing. Went up to 700. Okay, that's kind of cool. And then here in November, it went to 966, right? So again, sort of a muted rise. Again, about 4 months after the halving, so not really immediately after the halving. So, and really, the real big move was here. So it was not really connected at all with the halving. Then the next and last halving was on May 11th, 2020. So we go here, and we're going to see we're at 9,000, and we went up a little bit, and then we went down a little bit. We were at 10,000, so we were up 10% in August. And then the real move was in September and on. So again, another 4 months from May of 2020 to September of 2020. So, again, it really kind of looks like this halving does not have any direct impact on price of Bitcoin. It appears that, if anything, it's sort of a 3 to 4 month delayed reaction. We don't have a lot of data. This is just based on 3 data points. I'm not sure how statistically significant it is. But really, I think there's this sort of flawed idea, and I heard it today in a podcast that I did, which is there really is 2 models, right? There's this model of the adoption cycle, and that is word of mouth of Bitcoin spreading like a virus. It's just there's a demand for Bitcoin, the coin, and that's sort of growing at this kind of power law, T to the power cubed, right? So as time goes by, at the cubed of time, you get sort of demand for Bitcoin. And then that's sort of the number of users in the Bitcoin ecosystem, the number of non-zero addresses, and so on. And then the price of Bitcoin goes up to the square of that with Metcalfe's law. So T to the power 6. Now, there's a sort of separate process here, which is the miners trying to take advantage of sort of short-term opportunities. And I say relative short-term because if you're a miner, you buy equipment, your equipment's obsolete within 4 years. So your entire kind of in and out is sort of a 4-year optimization window. And that is certainly very much tied to halvings, right? Because, if you're doing it right before a halving, you know that your equipment, you're about to get half the Bitcoin payout in very short order. So yeah, it is tied to that. But how many people come in, how many people decide to mine? It really depends on the price, how sustainable the price is, and where we are, and sort of the Moore's law, increase in the just hash power available per dollar. So I just feel like these two things are separate. I don't think that the hash rate drives price. I don't think halvings drive price. I think hash rate contributes to the security of the network. But I think the adoption is what drives demand ultimately, and which drives price. That's my view. To summarize, I don't think the halving is very important. I think we're at a fantastic point with Bitcoin and this ETF. It is. There was a great segment on CNBC today that Larry Fink said it's the most successful ETF ever since BlackRock's, to a large extent, in the ETF business. This looks like they're going to be their best product ever. So I think we're in a great spot with respect to Bitcoin, but I just don't really care too much about this halving. I'm not important, and I'm not looking forward to it, and I don't think you should be trading it, quote unquote. So that's it. That was episode 61. I'll see you on the next episode.